Welcome to the Mama's Boys podcast. I'm your host, Omar. My fellow host is Silent Mike, also known as Mike Farr. We have merchandise available for Mama's Boys podcast at mamasboyspodcast.com, as well as you can sign up for our Patreon, where we give exclusive bonus episodes and other content on there. You can find that as well on mamasboyspodcast.com. Coming to you live in front of your steaming naked eyes. Gonna wait for Mike to put down the phone once again. Texting all the cutie patooties. So what are the topics today, Mike?
I got nothing. I'm losing my voice. It's getting scratchy.
From talking?
I don't think so.
No.
So I do like Twitch and stuff, and so I talk a shit ton. I think it's, I don't know. Maybe I think humidity outside, and then you go inside. I hate air conditioning when it's not in Sacramento for some reason, because the humidity from outside to inside is so drastically different. So it's humid as shit. We're in the South. We're in Texas. Right now we're in Houston. It's been raining also, which makes it even more humid.
Texas flood.
Outside it's so wet. But then you come inside and it's super dry and cold. And I hate that contrast. Where in Sacramento, it'll be super hot outside, but it's insanely dry. So when you go inside and it's cold, it feels the same, just obviously colder and more like refreshing. I find the AC here shocking and the AC at home refreshing.
Yeah, I think for myself, definitely from doing some singing and whatnot, that what I eat is the biggest factor. And so recently, I had my first experience with Buc-ee's, and we're eating some beef brisket, but also I was eating some fudge. We went to Torchy's, was having some deep fried tacos, some fried chicken. This morning I ate a donut. So all those things combined, definitely.
They make your voice bad?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, if I eat fruit like at the Haunted House, Mike, when we went to Whole Foods, singing like a bird.
It doesn't affect my voice. I don't
know.
Not at all. Maybe my stomach. But.
You ever try speaking more from your diaphragm?
Yeah, I was in a course for 8 years.
Because when I could tell, you kind of said it when you're more tired or, the weather or whatnot, you pitch up.
I'm just a little nasally anyways. And I think, who knows why, but posture and everything people talk about, you're just like holding where you hold stress and stuff. I probably hold it in my chest and my neck. And so then, I probably speak from my nose and my
I hold in my
throat.
gut and I just get constipated. I think the total fiber content we've consumed in the last 48 hours would probably be 10 grams.
You think you hold your stress in your stomach? Or you're just saying that because you
No, I mean, where do I hold my stress? I think probably, honestly, stomach. They have said your stomach in ways is kind of like the second brain.
Yeah.
And so that's especially, I don't think just when it comes to dieting, it's the lack of, micronutrients and a reduced fiber intake, because I still kept my fiber pretty high when I diet down. But just the stress on the body, constipation, other things like that. Yeah, I think for me, it's definitely my gut.
Jet lag's the son of a bitch. You start traveling. I talked to some people that pro athletes, mostly like homies, that would have to travel hours, like probably one time zone's kind of whatever. I guess we're 2 time zones over for me and 1 back for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still, though, I'm such a sissy with it. So I talked to all these pro athlete homies who have to compete at a high level, obviously for their career, multiple time zones, ahead or behind, whether they're fighting or basketball or whatever. And I don't know how much pseudoscience it is, but they say work out first thing when you show up and drink a lot of water. And I think that just in my head is a little more pseudoscience-y. Just, because of course a workout's going to make you feel a little bit better if you get a sweat going. Yeah. And of course if you're hydrated, because traveling in an airplane, no matter how much liquid I drink before or after an airplane, I'm always pissing bright yellow when I land for some reason.
Oh yeah. The whole process of flying and being in another either country or city is definitely taxing on the body. I personally, because to me, no time zone feels perfect or doesn't feel right, even my native one. Actually, when I go back, I usually travel to the West Coast because I live on East Coast time. The West Coast actually feels pretty good because I used to get up at like 11 a.m. And so West Coast time, I'll get up at the same time, which means 8 a.m. My body just wants to wake up at the same time. So I'm like, shit, I'm actually getting up early now.
Yeah, I'm going to bed at 11 instead of 2.
Yeah. And I'm actually surprised here, like I said, because it's 2 hours ahead for you being over here, but I've been the one getting up early where I'm like, I do not know what's going on. These are little victories. My brother gets up at 5 a.m.
It's the same though, because you're 1 hour behind. And so I'm 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's why you're up first.
Yeah.
So if I wake up at 10 here, that's 8.
Yeah. I was going to say that because it always sucks. My brother will wake up, go to the gym. He will leave the gym, leave for the gym, wake up, already practice music, and be gone before I wake up. So you just accomplish it. He leaves by 8:30 and I get up right around 8:30, 8:45.
I don't need all that. I think my sleep's more important.
Yeah.
Talking about the grind, hustle, murder killers. Like that's fine if you work 20 hours a day, but if I'm more efficient in 4, fuck you.
Yeah.
If I'm more efficient in my 4 hours and then I can do whatever I want, whatever I like, or get my sleep, then your 20 hours of half-ass production because you're fucking sleep deprived. Fuck you.
And that is your rant on sleep.
No, sleep's everything. I'm surprised how many athletes I deal with, full-on adults. Once you're past, like, I guess we're never adults because I did this poll on Twitter. It wasn't even a real poll. I just asked people.
Say it, Mike. You did a scientific poll on Twitter.
Anecdotal experiment on Twitter.
Double blind.
And I basically just asked people, how old do you feel? And I think we were talking about it maybe why. Because, like, fuck, bro, I'm 30. And, like, not that that's old, but when I'm 18 looking up, I'm like, God damn, 30's old, you know? And it creeps on you real quick. But I feel inside my head, although my lifestyle is that of probably like a 60-year-old retired man, what I like to do, right? I like to sit on the couch. I like to chill. But in my head, I'm probably still like 18.
Yeah.
And that was the majority of the answers. People are like, I'm 30, but I feel 21. I'm 25 and I feel 17.
Yeah, I think it's weird because, again, using my brother as an example, it goes in waves where I think depending upon what you do, I actually remember when I was in high school, it would be 11th grade. I was so sedentary. I went from being incredibly active to this high school as an academic pursuit, the school I was in. I was just focusing on that. And the way the school was set up, it was kind of like a concrete jungle where there wasn't also a lot of field and people just didn't play sports. So fell out of favor, stopped doing physical education, the gym classes. So was really sedentary. And actually, I remember one time watching Lord of the Rings in my house. And, you know, that sucker's fucking long. And I stood up and I got just super lightheaded. After standing up again lightheaded is fine, but like to the point where I almost passed out. Yeah. And that just shows how sedentary I was. And if I was to evaluate my energy, I recounted this before on my channel. It was so low. I tried to race against my friend in high school who was the fastest kid at the high school. It was like 3,000 people. This guy was fast. Suvi, shout out and respect. I'm like, yeah, I raced all my life. I'll race you, man. I raced all the way to middle school. But again, I hadn't done anything physically active for 3 years. And so I raced against him 100 meters and I had a blood sugar crash where I blacked out. Like I actually fainted after the race because I was just that fucked up, that out of shape. And I remember that was the pivotal point where I'm like, I need to start lifting again, or I need to, I didn't lift before that, but I need to start doing something physical. Yeah. And that probably for me is still to this day, this point in time in my life, by far the lowest I've ever felt physically, energy wise. And so, you know, recently, once again, using my brother as an example, I think it's you're old as you feel, as old as you move, how you act. And there's a lot of things. There's mindset. There's the physical, so how physically active you keep. So my brother's a good example where recently in the last year started hitting the gym again. And very consistently goes to bed like 10, wakes up at 5, just on point. And he has the most energy I've seen in, like a decade easily. So I think all those come into play. And so age is definitely a variable where maybe we could use the same thing like genetic potential when it comes to the gym, where it's an upper ceiling of how much energy you can have, but no one really exploits that upper limit. So I don't think it becomes a factor until, we get much older.
Yeah, that's what I was starting with, is how many people don't have a normal sleep schedule.
Yeah.
And I understand it in the world of what you and I do. Part of why we're in this world is, one, maybe we're outcasts and just literally can't sit at a desk, or two, we just can't be constrained by that type of schedule. So people want to set their own schedules, so they online coach or they create content or they whatever it might do. And so then that's, again, maybe self-justification, or maybe it's truth, but they can't set a schedule. But like one huge thing for me, I'm not that routine of a human. I do like having some kind of plan, I think. My dad was pretty planned out, and that's kind of in me, although I'm not organized. But a sleep schedule is something I must have to be optimal or productive in all my things. And like you said, you had like that downtime. I never had a downtime physically because I never stopped moving since probably kindergarten or whatever. You know, I always played sports. And even when I dropped out of college basketball, I was still playing basketball probably 4 hours a day and lifting weights. The only difference was I had no clue about nutrition. And so I was like, it was like Doritos, Mountain Dew, Carl's Jr. My junior college was on the side of a freeway, and I had like an hour commute home. And so we'd like practice. It would be like show up at 10, practice, 12, team meeting, 1, strength and conditioning, and then you'd have your classes on either end. And so then I probably wouldn't get home till like whatever 8 or out of school at like 7 or 8 at night. And just drive through Carl's Jr. Yeah. And then I got up to like, I'm working out probably more hours than I ever had in my life. And I got up to like whatever, 210 pounds of
solid
grossness. Yeah.
Solid muscle mass.
And then same thing when I dropped out, I got up to like probably 225 when I'm 21, stopped playing basketball competitively, but was still playing. But yeah, you're eating dog shit. But I never like felt lightheaded like that because I was still lifting and I was still running. I just felt, I just looked gross.
210 pounds of solid steel and sex appeal.
Not then.
How did that feel jumping with that weight, you know?
Fine. I was still hella fast.
Yeah.
I could still, I wasn't like dunking real hard, but I could hang on the rim. I could drop step, which means you have 1 foot on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You just take like half a step with the other foot. I could still drop step and grab the rim. And I was 210. I mean, in high school, I could do 360 and grab the rim. Yeah. At 180, I was obviously a lot faster, but it happens. I grabbed rim for the first time in a long time.
There you go.
Last week.
Yeah.
Last week.
Hey, I'm just saying, you know, little things. I do think the mindset is really important, where I have encountered in my lifetime several individuals where in general, I've noticed that I don't think it's just the physical component where we talk about the, you know, your blood chemical makeup in your body, your hormones, where, yeah, like, you know, testosterone over time slowly decreases. At the same time, there are ways to optimize testosterone naturally that could counteract that. And I think a lot of people that might feel sluggish as they get older, it's those other variables where we talk about mindset, losing muscle mass, the work that they do. And then when we talk about mindset, I see just a lot of people getting defeated over time is what I would say, where from training a lot of clients in my lifetime, and the vast majority being roughly middle age, let's say late 30s to in their 50s, somewhere. So in that span, about 20-year span would be, let's say 35 to 60, 25-year span would encompass probably 70% of my clients, 80%, right?
Yeah.
And the rest a little bit younger. But that's a big chunk of clients. And the common denominator that I saw between all those that lacked energy, they were just unhappy. And I think unhappiness can be a big life suck, can be a big drain on your energy when you don't feel right, when things aren't clicking for you, when life's not going the way that you expect it to go. So a lot of those people, and that's really, if I wanted to define fitness for the masses, fitness is vitality, the desire to feel alive again or to feel youth. And so a lot of the times, I think when I first started out as a trainer and I was, 18, is why a lot of the clients enjoyed it. Besides the training and the experiences, like here's this young whippersnapper kid that's like, yelling his face off and is super excited. And then they get swept up in it where it's like, oh man, like, right, like this is fun. I could lift, I could feel better about myself. And over time, then their mindset changes and they just start acting younger, where I have seen that with clients where they first came in and again, they're sad, mopey, they don't feel good about themselves, they're achy. Remember when people describe to you as a trainer, it's like, yeah, I feel like achy, this and that. Well, they start moving, their joints feel better, everything kind of comes together. And I think there is a symbiotic relationship between your physical self and then your mental self.
Yeah, I wonder what the case is, if they could even run. They probably can't. But say we take the same individual in their ages 18 through 22, let's take a male. Testosterone is supposed to be at its peak, but you're doing nothing, right? You're sleeping 4 hours a night. You're eating a bunch of Doritos. You're getting hammered four nights out of the week. Kind of like the stereotypical frat boy deal. Mm-hmm. Obviously, those are not prime conditions for your testosterone to be kicking or any kind of health. Yeah. But then let's take that same dude and fast forward until he's 30, where your testosterone is supposed to be going downhill, but he's sleeping 10 hours a night, working out, eating better. I bet you your testosterone could easily it could be higher when you're 30. Obviously, when you're 60, 70, I don't know, because your body takes its routes and things have to things start to decrease. But I bet you that's probably the case. And so I think that's a lot of people too that you're talking about, like, oh yeah, I can't get a boner. Like, bro, you're 25. Like, you know,
Can't
like,
get a boner.
like you stop drinking so much alcohol, get a little bit of sleep, and you just start working out.
Get that vasodilation. May I recommend some citrulline, malate
For the woody,
Stay rock hard in a funky place. No, I do think it is about
horny
mindset.
goat's
Actually,
weed. What do you know about that?
I don't need any of it. I don't know, bro.
Yeah, it sounds like you know.
Yeah.
That's like
Horny, well, I mean, horny goats. Like I'm like
I think it's the
2 and 2.
gas station. It's like the gas station.
Fuck.
Like a boner pill.
No. Random fact: I know a bodybuilder that goes to the gym, like a legit bodybuilder, physique guy who's jacked out of his mind. But he was actually saying Cialis.
No, everyone. That's not just him. Yeah, that's tons. That's powerlifters and bodybuilders. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of your pre-workout cocktail. Yeah.
Like, so what? You're gonna have like a boner while you train? I just don't get how that works. Like,
no, I don't think it goes to your dong. I think when your head goes to your dong, but if you're doing bicep curls, it's just a vasodilator, I think.
Yeah.
And that's why people, I think, even more use the gas station one that I'm joking about, because there might be something in Cialis that's some kind of sexual chemical or something also.
Get a raging boner.
Where the other ones aren't. But I think they are like real vasodilators.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound healthy either.
No, the guy was telling me where he just said that his head actually felt like exploding one time, where he did like a triple dose. Like he's a real bodybuilder that competes, has won all those things. So he's in it, like he's in it for life, right? He's not casual in lifting. But he said his face was just like a tomato when he was doing a set of squats. And he's like, "Well, I've never felt that before."
Have an aneurysm.
Where he felt like he was gonna have an aneurysm or a stroke or something. So he stopped that. But I was gonna say that when it comes to all those things, I think you're right. Where you could be 30, you could be 20. When we talk about mindset, when we talk about habits, all those things, they have observed. And I do think, even personally for myself, I can say this: where under times of intense stress, I've had certain periods of my life, chronic stress, chronic stress, things outside of my control, just various things. And actually, I've noticed, even though I'm applying myself at the gym, I'm trying to eat right, even my composition starts looking not as good. You know, when everything is clicking, gelling, and your mental mindset's good, you feel great, you have more energy. I think they all come together and they're all harmonious. And so various little things. And I do remember distinctly one time, just some bad shit was happening for a couple months, and all my workouts started sucking. I did not cheat when it came to my diet or anything, but weight just stopped budging. I was trying to lose a little bit of weight, and all those variables coming together, it was the absolute worst. So I think setting yourself up for success in general for life is a no-brainer, but it's interesting to see how we as humans routinely make the wrong choices for us, even though we know better.
Yeah, I think stress is obviously the ultimate killer, but people don't even care about how or what to fix it. Like you said, I think working out is great, and hopefully it goes beyond even just like getting a little bit more energy, or enjoying your trainer, or enjoying the environment, or even enjoying like the savagery that is, we're supposed to move and we're supposed to lift heavy shit, and like kind of feeling like a primate. Yeah, feeling like a primate again. Because I think for me, it's like I've harped on this a little bit, but like it's a blessing and a curse for me that I want to optimize everything, and I'm like, I always have a chip on my shoulder. I'm like, I can't. My biggest weakness is I can't enjoy small victories. I can't even enjoy big victories. Like it's just a struggle for me. But that is what gets me to where the fuck I am. But it allows me to excel in some ways in a lot of things where you win a basketball game by 20, and I'm still picking apart the turnovers that I had, or the bad things that I had, or a workout. I could have done this better or whatever. And so if someone hopefully doesn't have my insane mindset, but it has like 15% of that, so they're going to the gym and then they're allowing those things to bleed into their life, whether it be in lifting weights and programming, strength training can allow you to optimize everything in your life. Like, right, like how do you streamline things, like exercise selection when you're lifting weights, why, how, and when, what's going to get us the most effect with the minimal dose kind of deal. If you can do that with everything in your life, like, again, if I can work 4 hours super efficiently and get everything done, and you have to work 20 because you're fucking babbling entrepreneur who's really winning, right? And so if you can hopefully streamline everything in your life, breakfast, lunch, your kids, your family time, like how you really enjoy that, I think if you can have that in some kind of balance, moderation, then you're fine. You're on your path to happiness.
I'm going to quote the Muddy Waters song, the legend himself, R.I.P., where he just says, "I can't be satisfied." Well, I think I recognized that early within myself, where I could temporarily celebrate certain accomplishments, but those moments are fleeting. And it's actually the process that's more satisfying than the end result, and the feeling of trying to improve and trying to be better. And then recognizing, I have a line I say to myself, and so what? I say, and so what, when it's something negative. So let's say like this, and this happens. And so what? Like what's the worst that's going to happen at it? Realistically, okay, that's the worst case scenario that's going to happen to you. Who gives a fuck? And so what, right? And then also you accomplish something. It's like, let's say you had a big goal, like getting a house or whatever it may be, completing a degree. It's like, and so what? It's like, all right, what's next, right?
Yeah.
And so it's always that perpetual pursuit that I don't think is a bad thing. I think I am content enough in myself as a human being where it's not like if I don't do that, I'm going to completely fall apart. But that's the thing that gives me life when it comes to living. And so it's not like I wouldn't say I'm frantically searching from one thing to the next thing, trying to fill a hole. But that entire pursuit, the journey of trying to be better. And that's why I think that movie Interstellar is so beautiful. That's more about exploration, being bold, taking risks when it comes to Cooper. And that's just something I think that is fundamentally part of being human.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'm frantically searching either, but I think I can't take like small victories.
Yeah.
Even with that stoic mentality, even though I'm frantically chasing things in the sense that I want to get better at everything. Like I want to get a deal when I buy something. I want to know the everything about cameras before I bought my camera. I forgot it all, but the first time I bought my camera, I did fucking weeks of research. Like that kind of thing. Like trying to optimize every little thing. Getting into podcasts, I try to do as much information as I can on optimizing whatever, your fucking search optimization and all the bullshit. And I try to do my best, but I can't. Yeah, small victories for some reason I can't get behind, even for a second. I don't know why.
Mike,
the excitableness is just not there. I haven't been excited since I was a little kitty.
I hear you. What I personally think for myself, because I think I recognize that I can't be good at everything. I just know that about myself. Like I can't endeavor to know everything. And so I'm very passionate about a few select things that I try and dominate. So lifting is something that people know publicly about me, but music is something I'm incredibly passionate about. And so that's something I can sink a lot of time in. But yeah, like you've done more research when it comes to the podcast than myself. Because I just know it's like, when it comes to knowing that knowledge or even trying to attain that knowledge, I'll do an okay job.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about if it's, I don't think I'm trying to spread and be an expert in anything. It's just how I want to optimize things, right? Like I don't want to put a podcast out there and then have it not reach ears. And I don't want to be able to buy a $1,000 camera and then it end up being a piece of shit.
You want to set yourself up for the best possible success.
Yeah, of course. And so like, but even within those things, it's, I think that's the mentality that people need to go when they're going to a trainer, when they're doing anything. And we talked about it a little bit with our guy, John Wolf, when we're talking about, you can go to these classes and these seminars with all these experts and even get a mentor, a one-on-one type situation or be around amazing people and be around amazing situations. But if you're just there to kind of like check it off the list, like, yeah, I met that guy. Like, yeah, I've hung out with these people. Like, yeah, I've done YouTube videos. Then that's like, that's so bottom barrel. But if you're there and you're aware and you're consciously trying to improve and get everything you can out of those situations, I guess that's where I'm headed. Like I try to consciously like optimize every little thing I do, and it drives me to the edge of
insanity. The edge of the world.
But it does drive me to like, kind of a hole, like you said, like where you're just like, all right, what's next?
Yeah. I think it's interesting the way different people approach things differently, where I think, would you say, Mike, that you have potentially OCD or no?
I don't know. I don't know the definition. I would never want to throw it out there.
No, for sure. But just
that
the obsessive compulsive, where if you do, like, you're meticulous about things, like to put it another way, common things, you could look at a plate and things must be rearranged a certain way.
There's definitely tendencies in my head, and there's like silly ones. None of them drive me to a habit. I think that often OCD, right, manifests in some kind of habit. I don't think I have any of those, but like little things where I'll go to like, I don't know why this example always pops up in my head.
Yeah.
Like going to, whether it's a museum, I don't even like museums, a zoo, like Disneyland, anywhere. I don't want to miss something, even if I don't even like it.
So fear of missing out.
No, but it's not FOMO. No,
okay,
it's more, I don't know what it is, but it's like I just need to do things in an orderly fashion there. Like if we go to a zoo, like, all right, let's just like walk by everything. And it's not FOMO. Like I don't even give a fuck about monkeys, but I want to walk by the monkeys. Actually, I love monkeys. I don't want to walk by, I don't care about penguins, but I gotta walk by the penguins. So there's something there that like, and it's not FOMO. It's not like, I just want to feel like I experienced that. I guess optimizing again. Like I want to experience the whole thing. I want to experience the whole thing.
Do you feel in general, Mike, that you spoke about sleep, but you like structure in general when it comes to your life?
I don't know, because I don't think it's not like my life was crazy structured.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do like some of it. I really don't know. I think I'm pretty down the middle, like you're pretty unstructured in many ways, And so it was like,
I would say I'm very chaotic.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people, and I've had multiple like good friends. You remind me of one of my best friends. He used to be, now he's super structured, but when we were kids, he was fucking all over the place. And so like different people obviously teach when I'm around them. I think I'm dead down the middle. And so like, it's hard for me to go super chaotic or like by the whim. But when I'm around those type of people, I do my best. But then it's hard for me to be super organized, even though I'm pretty good with going with the flow too.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like that OCD example, if it has anything to do with that. I really don't know. But it's always been that way.
Yeah.
It's always been that way.
It's even then the conversation about relationships, like how you balance with someone else, I think with those things becomes an interesting conversation. Because kind of like you said, for me, I am someone that I would say is definitely more chaotic, more spontaneous in general. Where structure, structure is necessary to accomplish certain things. You got to practice a certain amount, this and that. But the creativity or what I want to do, it's kind of by a moment to moment, and that's where I'm happiest. But with that being said, when it comes to relationships, I've found obviously if you have two people that are super freewheeling, then it becomes hard to synchronize things. Not to have someone that's too structured, but someone that can understand your improvisation and what you're about. Yeah, and then give you some semblance of structure. So, okay, we could do this, but also a lot of understanding. Because sometimes when they talk about different personality types, like if you're someone that really needs structure and then someone else doesn't have and doesn't crave any structure, it could drive that person that has structure mad. Yeah. So finding that balance just when it comes to relationships, I think is interesting.
And it can be like topic by topic too, because I think like creatively and like personally, Bart is more like you, where he's like more spontaneous, but like his lifestyle and how he set up his businesses, it's insanely structured. And for me, again, I'm just more down the middle, I think, so I can relate and kind of get along with a lot of people. Like I've had ex-girlfriends that are insanely organized, a lot of good friends that are more freewheeling.
Wheeling.
And yeah, and I think I'm just good at adjusting. I'm good at adapting or doing my best.
You're like a thermometer, bro. You adjust to the temperature of the room.
I try to, even though maybe I'm not so good at it, but I try my best. I try my best.
Maybe this is the topic then to talk about the raison d'être, as I said in French and just butchered it. Anyone that speaks French is that's like saying like...
Sounded good to me.
Like, so if you say reason for existence, let's say that. It's like if I said it in English, it'd sound like raison for existence.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess you just said reason for existence.
We understood enough.
Yeah. Here's a question is, why do you think most guys go through a period where they grow their hair out? I mean, you've done it.
Yeah.
I've done it. I'm currently doing it. I know why I like my hair long, but it is one of those things where I think basically every guy, if you were to take a poll throughout their life, let's say a guy that's sub 30, have you tried to grow out your hair at some point? The answer for at least 80% would be yeah.
Something about me, at least fashion-wise, is like I always want to be myself and be unique, but I'm into what I'm into, So, but I always want like a hair of funk. And so like my hair has always been, like you said, we were at a Whole Foods and this dude with a wacky mohawk, like
liked it, yeah,
next level mohawk, right? Like good. We're talking probably a foot tall.
Yeah.
Each pyramid on his head was dyed a different color, kind
Real
of rainbow
punka.
status. Yeah, way out there. And Omar's like, oh, maybe you should do that. I was like, bro, I had like a mohawk, and so like I always had a little something. Like 8th grade was the first time my parents were like, all right, you can do whatever the hell you want, because I think I wanted to shave my head when I was really young, and my parents were just like, no, you're going to look like a little stupid thug. Like, you're not going to walk around totally bald in 5th grade. And I'm like, looking back, I get it. But like 8th grade, they're like, all right, you're fucking 14 or whatever. You can do what the hell you want. So I bicked my head. Michael Jordan, Mike Bibby, all these NBA players did it. So I was bald. And then soon after that, I think I went the other extreme. My hair is about your length. It's probably my longest ever. And in between there, we spiked it. We fucking did mohawks. I had this kind of like mullet deal. I had this kind of mohawk probably every other year my whole life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it's not nothing new. It's not like I'm having a 30-year-old crisis and all of a sudden I need to be a punk.
It's like when you see someone, not to insult anyone whatsoever, but you do see someone will reach actually, I think the age is 40.
Yeah.
And they haven't done everything they wanted to do. So they'll rebel in one way. And one of the common ones I see is dyeing your hair something like out there. Yeah. The guy, girl, doesn't matter.
Bleach it or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a blue. Like your hair just goes blue. It's like you've had normal hair your whole life. You reach 40 and you're like, fuck it. Yeah. It's blue. I'm like,
Yeah, that's I've always done stuff like that, or I'll wear like pretty normal clothes and all some bright colored shoes or bright colored backpack, or I've worn a fanny pack now for 4 or 5 years.
You did wear the fanny pack.
Let them know
before it was a thing. I will absolutely give you credit. Hey,
people.
I'm going to claim something. You claim something.
I think I had it before Rogan.
Oh, Mike, I literally, when I saw you wear a fanny pack, I had not seen someone else wear a fanny pack since I wore a fucking fanny pack, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fanny pack when I was 4 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you claiming? What are you taking?
Definitely the bandana. I'd say. So I'm not someone that
not
started
culturally, but in our space for sure.
Yeah. No. There are so many people, like a lot of 80s rockers wore it, and then before that, after that. But in our space, but now in fitness in general, there's a guy, that boxer, or not boxer, I mean, he's on YouTube, KSI. But he started wearing the black bandana. And now I've noticed just in general, the amount of people that wear bandanas just all around. But I remember when I first started wearing it, this would be like 7 years ago, right? Actually, no, that's a lie. I started wearing it when I was 18. But I remember when I first started wearing it, it's like, man, what do you think you're from the 80s? And now like people were wearing it. Like someone said, I was at the gym the other day, and someone's like, oh, that's a cool look. I'm like, well, it's like they think I'm copying something that's current.
Or that it's new. Yeah. Like you and I just like, oh, like 90s are back. Let's all wear fanny packs. But like the 90s, like fashion sense of like bright colored neon colors and like windbreakers is just coming back in 2017 by wearing the fanny pack. And you're kind of doing a punk thing from the 90s also. It's also kind of 90s, 80s theme. Yeah. But yeah, going back to the long hair, I think it's just a little bit of, I guess, I don't know if it's expression of myself or not, but it's just like things you can control. So I do, and I do them however I want.
Yeah. There's actually a guy, I got to give him respect. I'm going to shout him out. I respect when I see someone that is so wholly unique in their style and approach. And I think that's actually something I read Miles Davis' autobiography, which is one of my favorite autobiographies. Like, it's just really fascinating, interesting, great storytelling. But he said about jazz cats, how they used to identify one another on style. Like, what are you wearing? Like what you're representing. I think fashion has always been a part of music culture, and for guys as much as for girls. But I was going to say, there's this one guy, shout out, who made my belt, the North Lift Belts guy.
Yeah. He was on Twitch the other day talking to me in my chat.
Oh yeah. His have you seen what he wears, Mike, or no?
No.
Okay. I think his like Instagram's Artie McFly, like Marty McFly from Back to the Future. This boy just has like some windbreakers, but bringing back, and he started wearing this. So I've known 4 years. So again, it's been, some things have been coming back, but just his hair is all different. His glasses, he went with the circular frames before. Again, I've seen circular frames probably make a hit again in the last 18 months. This boy has been ahead of the curve, but he just has, you combine all those variables, and I'm like, and I'm just like, this is just a different look.
Yeah, I think I'm already going to go to it right now. Because it's going there, like baggy shit's coming back. So I'm just going to go. I literally remember the transition. It was in 2006 to 2008 where tall tees, at least California, I think around the world, or at least around the US, everyone's wearing baggy clothes still, right? Baggy jeans, baggy shirts. You wore fitted hats. Snapbacks were just coming into play. Yeah. And then literally on my college basketball team, which was predominantly African-American, predominantly listen to hip hop, like they're in the culture, literally the team's like split, like half the team still wearing baggy stuff, and then the other half the team, they're calling them baby tees, like tighter shirts, because that fashion was like, it literally, you could see the split in the team. You're like, shit, like these guys are in what's happening next and these guys are still in the past. So I think I'm going to go straight baggy again.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember
I got to be ahead.
Actually, I remember this kid in high school, I'll never forget his name, Vlad, where my high school, just the music that a lot of people listen to is definitely hip hop. And at the time, the baggy look was definitely in. Yeah. And I remember just thinking to myself, that it existed for so many years, let's say like 3 or 4 years. I just thought to myself as a 13-year-old, is this ever going to change? Like, are people ever not going to wear baggy pants? Because it's just something, I personally didn't identify with the baggy. When I say baggy, it's like when it's below your ass, when
like
it's
sagging.
Yeah, and I'm like, if I got to run or anything, like it doesn't make sense. For me personally, you do whatever you want. But I remember the watershed moment where this kid Vlad started wearing. Mike, name some for me some popular fashion brands like Sean John. Would that be
or Echo or something?
So something like that for those that remember. But he went from wearing he's a straight Romanian kid. But he started getting into, let's just say, general hip hop. Like he wasn't a hip hop head,
right.
but he's like getting into it.
Yeah.
And so he went from wearing some, just fob ass like windbreakers and other stuff, like just suited windbreakers, so very Euro style, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, like an Adidas jumpsuit or something.
Yeah. So just for people to picture that, like an Adidas jumpsuit. And then a summer passes by, and then he comes back to school, and he's in a decked out like Sean John. Yeah. What is it, like suede or velvet
like a sweatsuit?
Yeah. Those things. And so his style just did a 180.
Yeah, velour.
And everyone in the school was making fun of him a little bit because like just the way he talked too. Like he wasn't. I think what it is for some people is where if you're 1 foot in or you dip a toe in, but not the whole damn thing.
Yeah, or how you were like created. And we're going to have a podcast coming up. We already have it set up talking about culture vultures and things. So I'll be sure to stay tuned because that one's going to come next. And that's where we're diving in. We're talking with our boy LS McLean off air, just chatting, having fun. Yeah. We're talking about kind of the difference between someone, again, who's maybe a foot in or just like hopping on the train right away, which is fine. You can try new musics, cultures, whatever throughout any time of your life, but you can't act like you've been there. Yeah. Like you can't act like you're a part of it right when you just started listening to rap for a month. That's the difference. And
I think
we'll go deeper into it in a second.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think that'd be a great topic. I would say that for Vlad's my boy, and now I know
he's
him
a kid too. It's different when you're in high school compared to an adult.
You're trying to find yourself. I totally understand. I basically, I would say I have not had a style at ever in my life where it's always been, I think if I ever identify with anything, it'd be more like the punk aesthetic overall and attitude, like the ethos of punk, where I do like that straight edge approach. And so my clothes probably didn't describe me for a long time, and even now I just wear like very generic stuff. I like wearing black, like it's not something like, oh, this was like a very 80s thing. I'm like, it's whatever. I've looked perpetually like a waiter for the last 10 years.
But that's a lot of people too, though. That's probably 90% of the world just dresses with whatever they need for work or whatever they whatever's like. There's a lot of fashions that have kind of been there and stayed there, right? Like you can't really go wrong with some blue jeans and like a polo for the last 30 years. And so people will dress like that, even though they may be deep into like some hip hop culture in their head or just like that music. That I think goes back to, to bring this whole thing round and close this thing up is like, that's where I'm like deep in. Like I can't just like,
no, you're absolutely.
Well, I can't wear like a regular polo shirt and jeans and then just kind of listen to Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, like I've been into Kendrick Lamar and I've been into like mixtape rap and I've been into sneakers and I've been into fashion for 25 years, going back to like that's not optimizing anything per se, but I'm in. Like I can't just I can't put 1 foot in. When I'm buying the camera, I got to go all in and get the best camera for my buck. When I'm going all in, I'm trying to put out the best content I can. When I'm going all in, I spent what turned out to be me trying to just be a good basketball player turned into 10 years of studying fitness and strength and conditioning to try to optimize that,
Yeah. It's like, I just want to be good at basketball, and there goes 10 years of my life.
A lot of that, dude. Yeah. A lot of that music, same thing.
That makes us human, though. I think that's good. Maybe. I don't think that's bad.
No.
Would you rather have it the other way, Mike, where you're lukewarm about things?
Kind of, dude.
I think mediocre. Are you kidding me?
I think mentally that way
it'd be easier.
Yeah.
But do you want an easy life? Like, I think
I'm not always so profound, but every once in 6 months I'll say some shit, and I can tell when I raise Omar or Bart's eyebrow, then I know I said some shit. And I think I was at Bart's house, and I'm in the kitchen, and they're on the couch, and I said something about drama and kind of my anxiety and all these things, and I said something to the nature of dumb people cause drama because they don't have enough thoughts in their head to keep entertained or keep themselves going, and dumb people are easily satisfied. And that's just blanket statement, no research. That's what I've observed in 30 years on this planet. I said more intelligent people or thinkers. I think you can be a thinker and not necessarily be intelligent either. I fit in that category. But I think you can think and do these things, and then I don't need external drama because my head's going 24/7. I don't need your bullshit. I don't have time or energy.
I thought you were gonna say, Mike, I've already created my own drama.
No, not necessarily. Even though for me personally, I do in my head. But I think just thinkers in general don't always. And I don't need your drama, and I don't have time for your bullshit because I don't have energy for that because my brain's brain's already going, or my mind's already entertained enough, and you're not entertained enough, and you're super easily satisfied. So these dramas that you create, or these dumb situations you create with your lack of intelligence or lack of thinking, and you're still lukewarm about everything. You're so easily satisfied, right? I think those people, when Bart looked around, he's like, "You're so right, Mike. Like, that's the smartest thing you ever said." I was like, "Yeah, you're fucking right." And so I think, in a way, I would rather be easily satisfied and dumb, because you're just so sad. You wouldn't know any different.
But
it's like
what
being a dumb
level
little
of contentment?
Maybe you are. I can't put my.
We could float that back all the way. It's like, would you rather be the dog or puppy then that's just perpetually happy?
That's what I was going to say. I was like, it's like a Labrador. Maybe.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I? If I could just be so easily satisfied, like God, like
not worth living, bro.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe those people are genuinely happy.
Yeah, I like the struggle.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like being tortured in some of the pursuits that I do, where they rend me, and at night it causes me to think. And it's just like you get like shit sleep and you stress out about certain things. I love the whole process. I would say that for some people, distractions are very important. And that's why you say drama. I'd say, like that, distractions, right? Where people need to create something to focus on instead of focusing on themselves or focusing on things that are far more important. But I do think there is something beautiful about that whole process. And I think that process, because I think I understood when I was a kid from the get-go that you can't be constantly happy all the time. Like, actually, your mood goes all over. And so, the adversity is the thing that makes that small accomplishment that much more satisfying in the temporary. And then, as we say, on to the next thing. And so what? And so it's this whole big journey of emotions then going through. And I like that process. Being stuck on one setting too much, forget happiness. But like being stressed out 24/7, for a year, or feeling like you're going nowhere. No one fucking likes that.
Sure.
But as long as there's a healthy journey.
But I don't think dumb people ever actually experience that. That's my point.
No, Mike, for sure. But you're saying you would rather have...
I don't know, because I've never been in that mindset. My entire life, I've never been in that mindset.
Yeah.
So I can't say, but it seems to be awesome to be easily satisfied.
It's scary. So did you read in high school Brave New World?
Yeah. I probably cliff noted it.
Yeah.
The two books I read in high school were...
Huckleberry Finn?
No, like me personally read.
Oh, like just on your own?
Not the books. Not the books I'm supposed to read. I cliff noted those. The ones I read were
tell me.
Brother Karamazov. I actually read it word for word.
Really?
I just really like my teacher and I like the concepts in there, so I actually read that book. And then they snuck me. Because my school was so small, we basically just had A and B. We didn't have like advanced, but A was the advanced group.
Let me just give you respect though, Mike, because for those that have not read Brothers Karamazov
it's
by
not like
Dostoevsky,
a fucking Dr. Seuss book.
No, it's on the scale of prose. Well, first off, it's translated, but even still, whatever. So a lot of the bestsellers in fiction currently, we had to rank it out at 10 in terms of, readability or how digestible the information. Right. And so let's say 10's the hardest. Most bestsellers are like a 2 or a 3. Like you could sit down. Stephen King, who I do like his book, it's fun. It's fine. It's like a 3. You could just pick that thing. Anyone could pick it up and read it, right? Brothers Karamazov,
9.8
is any Dostoevsky. Demons is probably his thickest. Mike, that's like you went for the 10.
And then the other one was like a Machiavelli book.
The Prince.
Yeah, just because I was so into hip hop and Tupac kept rapping about Machiavelli, and I was like, what the fuck's this guy talking about? So I dug in there a little bit.
Yeah.
But where we're going, my bad. That was a bad side note.
No, I like that.
I forgot what you said though.
Well, I said...
Oh, did I read Brave New World? I think I cliff noted it.
Yeah. All I was going to say about Brave New World is basically the citizenry. So it gets into eugenics and a whole bunch of other things. Humans with different categories of function to them.
Yeah. I think I remember. Is that where they handicap people to all be the same? Or is that a different book?
No. So there's a class structure to it, but you have different functions then. But the masses essentially are docile because they have distractions. So there's drugs that they take.
Yeah.
Fancy drugs.
Yeah,
and so they are, Mike, in a way, perfectly content all the time.
Yeah.
But it's an empty level of contentment, and they make it horrifying. To become that docile.
Yeah, they explained America in 2018, bro. Everyone's on fucking drugs and everyone's just distracted by bullshit.
I hate when all these people, when they talk about the most misquoted author, I feel politically, has to be George Orwell. where they talk about, the ministry and basically about either fascism, communism, a lot of other things, authoritarian regimes, right?
Yeah.
And people misrepresent the concepts of the book, and so they'll be like free speech, like someone, again, we spoke about like YouTube, like someone being removed, this and that. It's like, oh, George Orwell, like it's happening, 1984 is happening. I'm like, bitch, you do not understand the first thing about this book. And in the second place, I actually think the book between the two of A Dystopian Future, Aldous Huxley with Brave New World, hit on a lot of things. Basically, what you're saying, Mike, that more accurately describe the present day situation than, and that's why when people want to talk about, this is a whole rant, we'll just end on this, but when they talk about George Orwell, where a lot of people will once again incorrectly talk about like freedom of speech, certain things that they feel are being infringed upon. I'm like, no, the things that are most relevant to the book 1984 would actually be the invasion of our privacy by government surveillance. Those are
private companies.
Yeah, those are the big things. It's like, let's just say, joking, like Alex Jones being removed from YouTube isn't one step closer to Orwellian future. Us being every single thing that we ever say on the internet are stored in data banks, and if necessary, they will use any of that information, or the fact that for I think a long period of time in America, and I think something similar is probably in Canada, where they could extradite you from various places, or they could detain you without evidence, like all those scary things. Basically, authoritarian style rule. That's what's
it's
scary,
different than you
bro.
posting on a private forum and you getting booted because you broke their rules.
Like someone was like, oh, it's 1984 happened, and I'm like, bro, you should read this fucking book. I don't think you've understood this book. People you hit on the head about Aldous Huxley, bro.
I'll go read it one day.
Hey, you went for the 10 out of 10, and I got nothing but respect.
I think it was an honors course or something. It was like college creds for some reason, and I think that's what made me nervous, and that's what made me read it. And I got like an A or something. I did all right. I think it was weighted. I don't know.
To read Brothers Karamazov?
No, the course. We had a course that was basically just like Russian history, and it was basically just the whole thing was based on that book.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
No, dude, your school, honestly, by all accounts, sounds great.
Oh, it is. It's great. We should interview somebody from there, someone way wiser than me on it. I know the guy too. Andrew Sullivan, my English teacher. We'll talk to Mr. Sullivan, because he's basically at the end of the curriculum when you're a senior. I actually dropped out early. I never talk about that, but I technically graduated 3 months early, just because I dropped
enough credits.
No. So my school gets you enough credits probably by junior year anyways, but they don't want you to do that. It's not a regular school. It's not by credits. Like you're always overcredited. Just drama and things. So I just ended up leaving. I moved to Portland for 3 months. With my sister. And but there's a course, like literally the last course you take as a senior, they kind of just explain like everything that just happened, because they don't talk about the school's philosophy to you while you're doing it. You're just going to school. You don't really know. And then they kind of start to unwind it. And Mr. Sullivan's the one that went through that. So he was a graduate of the school too. Notre Dame volleyball player, super intelligent guy, English teacher. But we'll have him on here one day and he'll explain the depths of it that I don't even know.
All about that dare literature, bro. Go anywhere and everywhere. Is it better to be content and not accomplish anything,
or Labrador,
or try and accomplish a lot of things and maybe be unsatisfied perpetually?
I'd rather just be a little Labrador running around space.
I want to thank everyone for listening to today's episode of the Mama's Boys podcast every Tuesday and Friday. You can help us out, show your support, show your level of contentment or discontent by leaving a rating and review on iTunes. It does help us out. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and leave a comment, like the damn video, and we'll see you in that next one.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye, kids.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.